Good morning. Welcome back to the farm. Today, we're going to seed some cabbage. Now, we're going to put in about 128 plants, well, seeds to make plants, which will hopefully, in about 3 or 4 days, start popping up as seedlings after we put them in the germination chamber, and then we'll put them under the lights. We're going to grow 2 different varieties. This is a Livingston seed. It's Premium Flat Dutch Late. And we've got a Savoy King from Haas. Now, we've had good success with both these varieties. The biggest question I get when I show how much we grow from people is, well, what are you going to do with 128 heads of cabbage? Well, remember, unlike many of the YouTube channels that you see that you might have 10 plants, we actually use the food that we grow to survive on. We grow about 80% of our own groceries, including meat, and it takes a lot. We not only grow stuff for us, we grow stuff for our livestock. If I can take a whole head of cabbage, let's say, pitch it out there with the chickens, it'll be gone in a day. So if you take that times an entire growing season between family members we give seed to, what we use, what I can feed out, it goes pretty quick. We actually grow cabbage in the spring and the fall. Now, cabbage is one of those cool weather crops that after it gets relatively hot here, which, I'm guessing in April-ish we'll be in the 80s and 90s, and it'll stay 90s and 100s shortly thereafter until August, September. We've got to really be timed well on how we do our cool weather vegetables, or what will happen is they'll bolt and we'll get little cabbage heads about this big. Generally a cabbage head here is probably a foot or so across. So that's why it's so critical now that we're in the first part of February to get our seed in. So let's get started. Now, some of the things we're going to use dirt. You can make your own dirt, but you need to know what you're doing or you're going to make a mess. I'm just saying. We're also going to use vermiculite. For those of you that are watching my videos in the past know we use a lot of vermiculite when we're starting seeds. It's just an amazing amendment. We're also going to use 128 trays with 128 trays that they go in. Now, let's talk about these for a minute. These are about 5 years old, and these are not your typical Walmart kind of trays. What'll happen is in a year or so after you buy, let's say, cheaper trays, I hate to pick on Walmart, they do have good stuff at times, but when you buy cheaper trays, they get brittle as time goes on, whether they're sitting in the sun or not, and they'll break. They'll just bust up. Again, this is about 5 years, and what we do is to clean them up every year, we get the dirt and stuff out of them, we put them in the dishwasher, and they're good to go for another year. So, highly suggest that you invest in decent trays if you're going to do this for real. Now, again, we grow a lot of our own food. This is not just a small enterprise for us. This is a way of life, and we've been doing it a long time, 30 some odd years. So, I highly suggest that you purchase quality equipment. I'm just saying. Okay? Let's get started. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our flat is about where we need it. We're going to take some of our dirt. And again, let's talk about dirt for a minute. Don't cheap out on your dirt. There's a lot of different varieties of starting potting soils and mulch and all this other stuff that you can put in, but just remember that this is the growing medium for your future food, and you want to make sure that you can get the best that you can get. I mean, if it's been sitting around 9 years, it's got bugs in and stuff, I probably wouldn't use it. I also would not go out to the field and dig some dirt and put it in a tray. you have weeds and bugs, and it's a lot more problem than what's worth, not to mention disease problems. So get the best dirt you can get. And understand, this is a growing medium. This is not an end-all to beat-all kind of thing. After your plants come up and you first start getting some of your true leaves, you're going to have to put fertilizer in here. You're going to have to babysit these things. That's just how it works with seedlings. If you've got a greenhouse, so much the better. But dirt is an important thing. Don't skimp on it. This is basically the same process we use every year for many of our vegetables. If you saw our onion seed video, it's not how we did it that way. But we certainly prefer to use our 1/28 because when we put it out into the garden eventually, it makes it a lot easier. Now, you can see we got dirt in our tray. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to wax on, wax off. Watch. Basically compressing the dirt Yeah, I am a first degree black belt, by the way. Did I mention that? But you go through and compress the dirt. Next thing, we're going to pick this thing up, we're going to drop it. Not very far, maybe 6 inches, maybe a foot, which will further compress the soil. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4 times probably be good enough. Now, if you notice, some of our dirt is compressed. It's gone down in the hole. Those were air pockets that we didn't get the first time. So what are we going to do? That's right. More dirt. You'd be surprised. I get a lot of questions about this process. People really don't get the seed growing part of gardening. They're used to going to your local garden center or ordering plants online or however they do it. Plants come in, they put them in, and they wonder why they don't do all that well. Well, a lot of times people don't understand the varieties are for specific climate conditions. Like here in the south, we will have super hot, super humid from about mid-April until the end of the year, whenever that is. We've gone as far as November. So if you don't have a variety that will handle those types of temperatures and humidities, it's very problematic. And so one time I ordered some pumpkin seeds from the Northeast. They were nice looking seeds. It was a great company, well known. Put them in, didn't do squat. Why not? Because they were bred for a much different climate than what we have here. Learned that lesson. Anyway, back to the wax on, wax off. I think we'll drop it again just for fun. Kind of smooth it out. You see the mess I'm making on the goat milking stanchion? Yeah, we'll have to clean that up when we're done, or Mrs. Possum Ridge Farms will not be happy with me. Which does happen from time to time, by the way. We've been married 40 plus years, and you can imagine. Anyway, so there we go. Now we're ready to start putting our seed in. So, for those of you that have not seen one of these, this is an Imp Seeder. This allows us to use, you know, when you open up a bag of seed, it's got all these little itty bitty little seeds in there. This allows me to use the itty bitty little seeds, which is much cheaper than pelletized seeds. If you don't know what pelletized seed is, it's a seed that you use in your seeder. Hence, if you look behind me, I have one of my seeders. It makes it much more cost efficient and effective to buy one of these. Now, this thing is, I don't know, 10 years old or so. I use it every year for planting our 128s. They come in different sizes, or did when I bought this anyway. But they save us a ton of money in seed. Just saying. So you lay your Imp Seeder down, and we're going to pour some seeds. We're going to put our Savoy Kings in first. And we're going to pour our seeds right in here in the center. We just put a few. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 seed per cell. Now, I'm not a math genius, and occasionally I put 2 seeds per hole. If you see me do that, let me know. Drop me a direct message or a message in the comments, and we'll see if 2 came up. Just saying. All right, let's get this done. Here's my 1 seed. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Now, if you notice, these cabbage seeds are brown and they're the same color as the dirt. So if you get off, you may have a whole bunch in some of your cells and not hardly any at all in some of the others. So don't get off. So we'll go back over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to move our seeder. Poof, we're ready for the next set. We'll put the seeds back that we have left over in our Imp Seeder and go to our Livingston seeds, which will give us basically 4 rows of the Livingston. Now, when these plants come up, you can tell by the way that the plants look, which is where to what, but I'll mark them to make sure that I don't forget in my advancing years which is where to what. We'll put our seed back and we will get to the next step. Now we'll put our vermiculite on. The vermiculite will allow us, when we get the water in, it maintains the moisture underneath so you're not continually running out. The big thing about seeds are when you're germinating is you don't want them to dry out, and this will prevent that, as well as keep some of the diseases out. And we do use a lot of vermiculite here. Of course, we start a lot of seeds. We probably start 1,000 seeds a year, probably more than that. I never really figured it out. But you just kind of lay it on the top there. YouTube channels actually turned a lot of people on to vermiculite. A lot of people never heard of it. Professionals have been using it for years, but they don't want you to know because they want you to keep buying seeds and buying their plants. I don't know if any of you buy plants from some of the big seed houses, but man, they are expensive. I don't know what 128 cabbage seeds would cost me, but I bet it's a whole lot more than the $5 or so I got in seeds that I just put in here. So now we got our vermiculite on. Let's tap it gently and try to define our cells a little bit. Yeah. Now, water. Let's put our water in. Brand new watering can. Actually got several of them. Mrs. Possum Ridge Farm picked them up the other day. Can't seem to keep watering cans. Ran over the last one with the tractor, by the way. What you're going to do is you're going to fill this flat all the way up. Now we're going to leave it sit for about 30 minutes. The vermiculite will change color, and we will put this in our germination chamber. Germination chamber settings, we're going to run this at about 78 degrees Fahrenheit at as high humidity as I can get in there, which this time of year, probably be a good 100%. If not, we can probably live with 98. It's been about 30 minutes, give or take, and as you can see, our vermiculite has changed color. Now, I'm going to take some fresh vermiculite and drop it in there, and you can see the difference. So our moisture is permeated all the way through. We're going to bottom water these seedlings, which is very important, all the way through the time until it goes out in the field. The vermiculite is a big deal. Bottom watering is a big deal. We'll get, now after I put this in the germination chamber, we'll get, you know, we might not get 100% germination, but we'll get in the high 90s, if nothing else. I realize most of you don't have germination chambers. We didn't have one up till about 4 or 5 years ago, when there's a guy down the road who's a market gardener, Ray Tyler. He's got this amazing place, and they have primarily lettuce, but all kinds of stuff. And I heard him talk about the germination chamber they had, and I was like, wow, I can build one of those. And so I certainly did, and it has been a game changer here. But if you don't have one, that's okay. Lights, warming mats underneath, you can get good germination with those as well. Anyway, let's put this thing in a germination chamber. As we come up, we'll check our temperature. We're currently at 77.6 degrees, and the setting is at 78. Now, as you can see, I've got the humidity turned off. This time of year, because of the way this thing heats, the humidity will be 100% easy. Now, when I open this door, the temperature is going to drop like a rock, because that probe right there needs to be in soil. Basically, the 70 degree plus is for the air temperature inside here. So I'll go get the tray, put it in here, and we'll put it in soil. Okay, this is our temperature probe, and we will put this in the corner here. And what will happen is, when this thing is registering a temperature, now I'll know the exact soil temperature while this thing is germinating. As you can see, just by having the door open, the air temperatures drop like a rock. Plus that soil is going to be cool. Now it'll warm up in it'll take 24 hours or so, and that soil will be up at 78, and it'll just stay there. Well, I hope you learned something today. Cabbage, as well as most seeds, are easy to grow. You just got to know how. If you follow the step-by-step instruction that we did in this video, it'll come up. Your germination rates will be great. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. It helps the channel out. We're trying to grow this thing. The more word we get out, I think the better off everybody will be. Until next time, I'll see you down at the barn.